by putting this sound, not only remembering it, but putting it back into the city, I am also contributing, and I am an urban planner. I am an architect. I am building this city through the memories of these folks, and also planting seeds, sonic seeds, for more of us to be here and to have their stories told and heard.
Hey, I'm your host, Ronja Sakata, Queen of Joy, that's how my friends call me, talking to you from Zurich, Switzerland. I want to make this world more joyful and playful and colorful because we don't have a guarantee for tomorrow, so let's enjoy today. Will you join me? I'm all in. I founded the Joy Academy for exactly that reason, and on the Let's Create Joy podcast, we talk visions, dreams, self-care, habits, challenges, creating joy, and much more in motivational solo episodes at the beginning of the month and inspiring talks with my wonderful guests. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Joy is my compass for getting fun and tangible daily inspiration for our monthly topic. You make the difference, and you are the most important person in your life. Yes, we can live our best lives right now while we have our big vision in our head and heart. Let's dive right in. Enjoy! Welcome, Tossie Long, to this interview. I'm so excited to catch up with you again. And then we have the honor to record this. How amazing is that? Because we met, I don't remember, 3 years ago in an online course.
Yes.
And it's so good to hear you. And thank you so much for being on my podcast. And we always start with these questions. Who are you and what do you do? And then what brings you joy and how do you create joy in your everyday life? And we go from there. The bird is yours.
Nice. So good to see you too. I can't believe it's been 3 years since we took that course together.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my name is Tossie Long, and I'm a ritual sound designer, ritual and experience sound designer here in San Francisco, California. I conjure between the genres from African cosmology to heavy metal to Afrofuturistic productions. What else about me? I'm a mother. I am a sister. I'm a sister friend, and I'm a lover of all things with ease and delight. That is my mission. Move in ease and delight. So how do I bring joy into my day every day? The first thing that comes to mind is I love my walking meditations. I do walking meditations, and I'm really close to the water here. So I walk and do this visualization as I'm walking, and it moves through the different chakras of my body as I'm walking. And it literally, I feel like I'm vibrating once I get back home. So it starts me off in the vibration of joy and gratefulness and love. And then I move into my day.
Wow, that's so interesting. Is there any resource, like free resource we could share, or do you do that yourself? That's your meditation?
No, so I first was introduced, or should I say, I was introduced prior, but Dr. Joe Dispenza has a meditation that I use. But being a sound artist, I created my own, so I can hear my own voice. Yeah. And I could share a link with you that you could share with your audience.
Wow, that would be
something
so
that they
cool.
could walk through, a 30-minute walk-in experience. Yeah.
I want to try it too here in the woods. I'm not, we don't have a sea here, obviously, but the woods are very close. So beautiful.
Nice.
So you start your day with your 30-minute walking meditation?
Yeah, actually my walking meditation, I walk for 50 minutes because I have a French bulldog too. I have a little dog that I walk every day. She's the joy of my life. I will say that, like, she brings me so much joy. So I get to walk her and see her scamper and do zoomies around the beach, and I get to do while I'm doing my walking meditation. So usually I get that done the very first thing that I do in the morning is I have an accountability partner, and we speak on the phone 5 times a week for 15 minutes. And
Wow.
we check in, and just check in on our, like, what we accomplished. And these are not things that are like goals for your business or anything. They're just like movements in your life. Like, did you breathe more? Or did you get outside and get some sunlight? Did you put your feet in some dirt? Did you laugh? Did you greet your partner when they come in with a big hug instead of just saying, hey, and keep doing, like how we check in on, just like, to make our lives more rich, and using each other as accountability partners to do that. So after I have that call with her, and that's just 15 minutes, 5 days a week, I get dressed, and me and my Frenchie Charlie heads outside for our walk. And that's like, yeah, it's scrumptious. It's
Oh,
yummy.
so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And is your accountability partner also like your best friend, or is that somebody who just wants to grow as you want to grow and you found each other because of that? Or I mean, that's a big
Exactly.
commitment.
It's a big commitment. We did not know each other when we
Wow.
first met. We met in a meditation group.
Yeah.
And both just going there for meditation. And then we decided, we were just talking, we're not, I would say we're friends now, because this has been going on like several years. But
Wow.
when we first started, it was like, I have a commitment to myself, and I see you have a commitment to yourself. Do you want to do this thing together and support each other? And it's like, okay. And we learned each other along the way. And it's 15, like literally 15 minutes, 7
Yes.
to 7:15, 5 days a week. We do that 7 to 7:15. We really never miss a call unless one of us is on vacation. But like, I was in Italy for a month, and I still made my calls because it's just that important.
Wow. So you did adjust the time zones to
we kept the time, but I just called.
Yeah.
It was a 9-hour difference, so I just called it the 9-hour difference.
Yeah. Because San Francisco, I think Pacific time and this time zone here in Europe is really hard. The gap
is really hard.
It's just a really short time frame where
it's a really short time frame.
Yeah.
And so it worked out. We did that together. Like, we've been it's like maybe 4 years now, 5 years we've been doing this with each other. And I adore her. And we just, like with any relationship, the amount of time you invest in it, the richer it becomes, and 15 minutes a day. Like, it really doesn't take that much to develop rich relationships. And having rich relationships is a life value for me, and it's been a lesson. Like, 2 strangers who just said, hey, I'm really trying to commit to my meditation. And it started with that, us just committing to meditation. And as we just kept going, it just expanded and expanded and expanded.
That's so beautiful and so inspiring because it's free, you can just, you have to find somebody.
Yes.
But it's not a coaching program you have to invest. I mean, that will cost, I don't know how much to have somebody, but if it's a win-win situation, that's so
a win-win situation. And then you get to tap into the genius of that person, and she gets to tap into my genius. And so it is like coaching. So many times I've gotten on that call and I'm crying, like, and she's like, helps me to rewire my focus, helps me to see it a little bit different. And we ask each other for consent. Do you want me to listen, or do you want feedback?
Yes.
Do you want both?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't need to give feedback. You just need to be heard and seen.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's like, we just need to be heard and seen because we already have the genius. We already have the genius inside of us. So we just need to get it out and have someone hold us in that space. And we do that for one another and with one another. Mm-hmm.
So cool. So we are not yet at like midday, and you already have such a rich rituals. That's so cool.
Yes.
And the beach walk is whatever. I mean, you have beautiful weather all the time, right? Or nearly all the time.
Well, kind of. Like, so it's San Francisco. We're not Los Angeles. It's not sunny all the time. Everybody thinks California, sunny California. I'm like, no, that's Los Angeles. Here in San Francisco, it's foggy. We have a lot of fog. a bit like all the time. I'm in the pocket of the city that gets a bit of sunshine throughout the day, but most of the time it's overcast. So
Okay.
it's mild weather. It's mild, always have to wear a jacket, but it's mild, so it's not snow, and it's not extreme heat. I'm an extreme heat type person. I love hot, sweaty, steamy like that. I wake up in that, but this place is definitely not that.
But it's I mean, the world is small but so big, and so many possibilities. Like San Francisco is your big love, and living there brings you joy? Or is it like, well, I landed here, I could live somewhere else?
Well, I was raised here in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I have family here. My mother's here, aunties and uncles, my grandparents transitioned, cousins. So I have nostalgia in the city. I walk these streets and I remember being a little girl growing up,
Yeah.
So this place does bring me joy. The areas of this place and why this place brings me joy is because my memories were formed here. And I get to see myself I rebirth myself in the same places I was birthed, so I could go back to the places I used to run when I was a little girl on top of Bernal Hill and cry or write my journal. I was a little emo little child. I was very emo. So I can still go to those same places and rewrite my new story today as an adult woman. That is priceless and it's quite magical. I do a lot of traveling. I try to, that's a big part of, like I said, I'm a ritual sound designer and I study African cosmology, music and spiritual practices. And so the notion of home being body, home being land, I get to engage with that here, literally walking on the streets where I walked as a little girl, but then also taking my body home into other spaces that I could claim as home, because home is just really within me. Yeah.
I totally get that, because, in Switzerland is so tiny. And if we move just an hour away, it's like, whoa, that's a big step. And in America, everybody is just moving around like
it's a lot of movement.
Miles.
Yeah, it's a lot of movement in every space. It's different. Like the folks in Los Angeles has a different personality, demeanor than you'll find here in the Bay Area. And you could just drive, that way, and you're in another little town or city. California is huge, so you could drive 12 hours and still be in California, versus like if you're in New York on the East Coast, 2 hours, you're in a completely different state, so yeah.
That's the same here. 2 hours or 3 hours and you're in another country,
Okay.
Switzerland is like, I don't know, compared to New York, I don't know. Yeah, it's really, but I think the roots, I love to go back to the little village I grew up, and I totally get what you're saying, like I felt desperate here underneath this tree when I was like having my first heartbreak. Oh,
yeah. So I get to have that here, and this city is completely reimagining itself as we speak, so there's a lot of spaces that I used to be able to go to that are not available anymore, has completely transitioned. A lot of gentrification is happening, buildings coming up in places that weren't buildings there, and then other buildings coming down, and news. It's a very intense city to live in for me, because I have went through the transitions with it, and my family has went through the transition. I'm a third generation San Franciscan, so I hear stories of San Francisco from my mother, from my aunts and uncles, from my grandparents. Like I can hear the stories, and I've also walked some of those stories. So, to see this, the city is like completely new. It's almost like every time I go outside, I'm like, what is this? Where did this come from? One end is really great to see newness, and then also can be very disheartening because of some of the other factors that contribute to displacement and erasure. And I think our city is dedicated to trying to figure out how to counter those things And being an artist myself, that is like part of my mission, is how do I place sound back into spaces, not how, just put sound back into spaces that were once had a sonic resonance of people, of bodies, of stories. And now spaces we could go to right now and there's no timbre of the kids playing or the elders calling out a child's name or even them singing over food and things like that, you know. So to remember the sonic imprint of a place and how the sonic imprint of this city, and I think in a lot of cities, is rapidly just shifting and changing.
Oh, I have goosebumps. I see it, you know, like the scene and the sound and the imprints. That's so huge and
Yes,
overlooked by so
it's
many
overlooked.
and
Yes,
ignored. And it's like the soul of a place, the soul
that's it.
of an area.
Yes, yes. You know, but what I believe too is that the sounds never, they never leave. The resonance never leaves. So I have projects that I'm working on where I take dirt and old pieces of buildings that are no longer there, like if I could find remnants, and pick up the sonic resonance of those places. Because if you put contact mics, you can hear the sonic resonance of those places and create music, create soundscape, and then put story and voice back into that. And a part of that is a remembering. It's also a catalyst because everything in the world begins with sound. Everything. You know, Christianity, in the beginning was the word was with God, you know, if you're in Christianity. If you're in other traditions, I think it was, I was looking at a Japanese story. I know you have connection to like I was looking at a Japanese origin story. Oh, I can't call it. Wish I would have looked that up before I got on here with you. But and it was sound. It was the cracking of sound, you know. And so what I believe and what I live is everything begins with sound. So what we speak is beginning of a new life, you know. And so by putting this sound, not only remembering it, but putting it back into the city, I am also contributing, and I am an urban planner. I am an architect. I am building this city through the memories of these of folks, and also planting seeds, sonic seeds, for more of us to be here and to have their stories told and heard. Yeah.
Wow. And is your work honored enough? Or are you like, hey, I'm doing this, and please, can you open your eyes and open your
Yeah.
ears because that's important? Or
Yeah. Well, I think it's a push and pull, like with any artistry, you know, like the more you do it, the more people pay attention, you know. And so I've been doing it for many years. I've been an artist for over 15 years. I'm a Grammy nominated vocalist. Um, I recently sung with the Oakland Symphony. The reason why I bring that up is because I tend to get called to sing for great leaders who have left a mark on a place. And recently, the conductor of the Oakland Symphony passed away. He transitioned, and I was asked to, along with my group and a bunch of other musicians, as a memorial, to sing. So my name means the one who sings down praise. Tossie means the one who sings down praise. So I'm charged with this. So no matter who's listening or not listening, this is what I walk with. You know, this is just, it's what it is. And so I bring that up to just say that was a transitioning point. But I believe in life, death, life, death, life, death, life cycle. And as we honor his great leadership and the lives that he's touched in music and sound, by singing, by putting that sonic sound and imprint out there, we're also giving life to more to be there. So I've also sung for great leaders, spiritual leaders in South Africa who passed away and different things like that. So I know that I'm called to use my voice as a planner, as somebody to create new life through voice, new life through sound, and to alchemize and conjure and be with them in the realm of transition, of death, to hear them, be with them sonically. That's what I can do. I can feel them sonically. and then give birth to something new through my voice and my sound.
And do you do that, like you connect with the soul before you perform, or you are performing on the go, like downloading the sounds?
So that's a good question. So it's actually just a part of my daily practice. So it's a part of my daily practice. Partially, I can't help it. You know, they're like tapping on my shoulder, so to speak. I hear them, I see them. I sense them. But they say if I'm getting called to sing for a particular person, I'd be with them. I'd be with them in my own quiet space and talk with them, and you know, just move my day, throughout my day, when I'm drinking my tea, you know, may listen to something that they did, and in my meditations, in my walks, in my I meditate throughout the day. Often I take a lot of quiet time, you know, for myself, and I can just feel their spirit churning and moving. And so I be with them. I sing songs that I've learned from all the different spiritual cosmologies, African cosmologies that I have studied, that honor the dead, that honor life, growth, planting, all the different things. I just get in there and just do it. And then when I'm on stage, so I will say this, when I was on stage, I actually, one of the reasons why I started to go to therapy was because I would go on stage. Oops, if you heard that, that was my dryer.
No problem.
Okay. I started to go to therapy. One of the reasons why I started to go to therapy is I would perform and I would not remember my performance. I had to relive my performance through what people would say to me afterwards. So it would be a point when I would be performing and I'm like, I'm not there. Like I just kind of went away. And it wasn't because of fear. I used to do it as a child too. When I was singing church, I used to say, okay, watch this. And then, you know, and I would just go somewhere. I'm in the middle of me singing. I would be saying this to myself. So I wanted to understand what that was. What I now know that is that spirit is speaking to me. And what I always do before I get on stage and anything I do is use me as a vessel. Use me as a vessel. My business name is Red Clay Sound House. And the notion around clay is you mold it into what it needs to be. So I ask spirit to fall fresh on me. Fall fresh on me as I mold my clay. I am the potter and I am the clay. And I use that to say, it's the same thing that happens when I get on stage. Use me. Use me. I am a vessel. I am a vessel. And the downloads can come, sometimes they're stronger than others, you know what I mean? But it's always a point where I can feel their access and I relinquish. So a lot of times people say, oh my God, that was so beautiful. I didn't even know how to say, great, I'm so glad. I didn't know how to say, oh, thank you. I didn't know, because what I used to say was like, that wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't, and I knew that would sound weird, you know, but it's true. It wasn't me. Today I accept it. Today I say thank you, because I know that they're filtering through me.
Your performance on videotape afterwards, or you don't want to see or hear it?
It's so hard for me to watch myself and to even hear myself back. It's hard. So I don't quite do it all the time. However, you do have to study yourself to get better in what you do. So depending on what I have coming on, I do study old things that I've done. But I study it from a standpoint of study, you know, like studying my performance. Yeah. I gotta get myself out of the oh, Tossie, God, you did, you know, I gotta get myself out of that. It's like step into the study of your artistry versus the critique.
Yeah. And do you have some other musicians around you who follow your guidance, or is it you? Like,
yeah. So what I believe,
they can't practice otherwise, you know.
Yeah. So we do rehearse. So I believe that all musicians are channelers, right? Like I think all humans are, but I do believe all musicians are channelers in their own way, you know. And so with my band, I am fortunate enough with some of my bandmates. I am also with other spiritual downloaders who read codes and read between codes. So it is a vortex up there, and they're all vocalists. And so it's a vortex with us up there. It's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You could just feel it. And then the musicians that we have, they know how to hold the sonic resonance so we can dance on the music. So we can go there and dance on the music. And That is my life. Like my life code, right? Tossie, are you dancing on the music, or are you getting static? You are a person that moves on the music. You move up and through and go around. That's what you do. So do you have the agility? Are you being agile right now? Check in with yourself, Toss. Like, and this is just like in life and whatever I'm dealing with in life outside. But my metaphor is through music, because I have actually embodied that, and I know what that means, and I know what that feels. Because it's one thing to have a concept, but do you have it inside of your body? Where I have it inside of my body is when I perform and I sing.
Oh, I see it visually in front of me, like a woven fabric with different strings and colors and 3D effects. So beautiful.
Yes.
And as like internationally, like whoever listens to that, where can they access your art, or like pay for I mean CDs? That's gone, but
right.
Where is your music available?
Yeah, so you can find me on my website, and on social platforms. A lot of my work is in conjure settings. So a lot of my work is done within ritualistic settings. And so oftentimes some of those things are closed off, the public can't. But then some of the public offerings that we have, I'll advertise it on my socials and things like that. My newsletter. So sign up for my newsletter. That's where I really push stuff out, is on my newsletter. And also share other artists who are doing things that I am in alignment with, that I believe in, so that my newsletter has like tons of information that way. And then other than that, I do, so recently I've had I did a private party. Like, people contact me for private parties. They want me to come and maybe perform an experience. So my singing, I could just sing, but what I love to do is I make ritual. So I sing through the context of creating an experience through ritual, and I use voice as a way to move us through that. So sometimes, people ask me to come in and do something for their house party, or they have like the last group was they were raising money, a fundraiser, but it was like 30 people in this person's house who they were raising money for a fund, and they asked me to come in and do this experience. I love doing things like that because I love intimacy. That's like my favorite yummy thing. And I'm an introvert. So big audiences, big crowds, it takes a lot for me, intimate audiences. I just feel more charged and a little bit more comfortable in those spaces. But I sing on big stages. I love it too. But my yummy spot is when it's intimate. Yeah.
And do you interact with this audience? Like, they should hum something and then you dance on this, or like three
so,
like I don't have the right words in English, I think. Like, no, and then
harmony,
together.
Creating harmonies. Yes,
yeah, so harmonies. That's the
harmonies.
word.
Yes, I do create sounds where, like, so I don't like the idea of that I'm a performer. I think there's a space for me to be a performer, but I want to be a community member. So in any space, especially intimate spaces I walk into, I'm not performing. I'm just like a choir director. I grew up a little choir director in my church, like directing the youth choir. And so I come into these spaces and I'm like, I'm going to, direct a vocal experience, a soul experience where we turn inside and look at ourselves, and then use voice to actually put some of that sound and that resonance, again, with seeds for the future. So that's how I see it, So yeah, I'll get people singing, and people are intimidated by the word singing. So I don't always like to use the word singing. But here's the thing, everyone can sing. Everyone can sing. Now, can we all sing like Beyonce? No, no, I can't even sing like Beyonce, but everyone can sing. See, I grew up in a house and in a family where singing and playing music and laughing Singing was just like second nature. My mom would be, I woke up every morning. My mother plays the piano. She's a classical and spiritual trained pianist. So every morning I woke up, it was her playing the piano. So I would wake up and I would just be humming around the house, getting dressed. Family dinners. Family dinners with my aunties and uncles. Now you have like 8-part harmony going because somebody would just start singing a song and then people jump in the song. And that was so normal to me. I thought everybody did that. I thought everybody it never dawned on me like this was a thing, And so I hold that as a principle. No, we all sing. It doesn't matter if your voice is, however you want to say it. It's just a voice. You're just making a sound. And the only thing that's happening is we're coming together. We're coming together and we create these joy-filled moments with our voice together. We literally make love with one another because when you're singing in a car and the song comes on and everybody in the car is like, oh, and everybody jumps in. Well, I like doing that in my kitchen. I like doing that in spaces that I'm around. And that's what I'm creating, those type of experiences where we create memory and we make meaning through our voice, and we plant seeds for the future through our voice. And we hear and let those seeds that are deep down inside of us, deep down inside of us that need to bloom. We use our voice to get it out. And I know I'm here to get those things out in that way. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people are so used to, no, I can't sing. But when you hold the space for everybody being brave enough to really sing, I mean, the experience of harmonies is so beautiful.
Yes.
And the memory is like sticking forever. It depends. No, it doesn't depend even. But we were singing, or my mother is a musician, and we were singing a lot too. So like singing, and I don't do it enough. Our apartment it's a very old house. If I sing here, everybody can hear it around me. But it's stupid. It would be, I really want to sing more. That's one goal for 2022 for me. Yeah, really.
Yes. I have a question for you. What's a song do you remember any song that your mother taught you or would sing around the house? Like, is there a song that was like, if I heard this song, I definitely think of my childhood or I think of my mother?
We always sang, I think it's a German song, the moon has risen. Der Mond ist aufgegangen. And we have three harmonies.
Yes.
And my father, my mother, and I, we like to sing together and then have the low and the high, and love it. I love it. Yes. I even recorded some lullabies on my phone with my parents so that I can sing them with them to Mika at night. That's the little chorus it's really beautiful. And what I really love is do you say that in English too? Cannons, like when you have
cannons,
okay,
where like rounds, right? Like
yes, so you have four places where you can start the song. It's the same song.
Those are fun.
My grandparents started the ritual to sing before we eat in our mountain cabin. We don't do it or we didn't do it in the normal like daily life at home, but always up there. And I always I'm impressed by the American culture with God and like praise God. That's so normal to say, and here you're like kind of a fanatic if you. It's like ooh, and then I always explain. Look, we sing up here, and it's kind of Christian songs, but they're beautiful in the harmony. So then once with a friend and her little daughter, she was 2.5, I think then, or 2. And she was just beaming. Her eyes were like, oh, this is beautiful. I have to post this video to our episode. It was so beautiful. And I love this. Yeah, it's a canon. So
yes, that is so. I mean, you said the moon has risen.
I can.
What was the lyrics?
Der Mond ist aufgegangen. Yeah, it's kind of like the moon, and then what I love the phrase the moon, you only see half of the moon, but actually it's round and full. And it's the same with people, that sometimes we don't see the whole story, but actually it's there. So yeah. Yeah.
I also love the lyrics, especially, and this is, again, I studied spiritual music from African cosmology from around the world. I studied spiritual music from around the world, but I honed in on spiritual music from African cosmology.
And which country in Africa? There are so many countries.
There's
and so many tribes.
Yeah.
I mean, where did you start?
Yeah, so the tradition that I looked at Ifa, Sheshe, Candomblé, but the tradition and the sound that the music just took me was Vodou. So I've traveled to Haiti, I've traveled to Benin, and even in New Orleans to study with practitioners of the tradition, of the spiritual tradition. And I study with master teachers around the music, the drumming, the songs. And these are old songs. Some of the songs are so old that they can't even be translated, but they're inside of the ritual of the practice, which, I just think is fascinating. And, but the music, Vodou music is just in the culture, in the people, it's an earth-based culture. In the Western world, we have a very warped view of Vodou. It is absolutely wrong, which was driven by Hollywood, which is driven by the fear of those being powerful and taking over autonomy for themselves and winning back their freedom. And so, of course, they were like, oh, no, let's make this something to be feared, because we don't want these people to get inspired, I guess you can say. So Vodou to me is a liberation movement. It's all about being liberated. And so I was fascinated with that. Not only was I fascinated, let me say, I would say, when I went to a dance class, I started off by going to a dance class. It was a teacher by Robert May, Portia Jefferson, and my master teacher is Daniel Breville. And I walked into the class, and the women have the skirts and they're dancing the traditional Haitian, and I'm like, oh, this is great, and the drummers are going, and they started to sing. And the way I started to feel was how I felt when I was a little girl in church, when I would hear my grandmother and my grandfather sing, or my mother playing the piano. It was the same, just like, I have this like little old lady in me. Every time I hear good stuff, I start rocking, but that's how it was in church, just a little church girl, and I can feel spirit. I could feel the spirit. And all the spirit is was love. All the spirit is goodness. And I felt the exact same way. And I said to my teacher, I don't know what you're saying, because I don't speak Creole. I don't know what you're saying, but I can sing that because I feel it. And he was
what did she say?
He was like, oh, then come to rehearsal. He's like, then come. So I went to his house, and he was playing the drums, and he just started teaching me the songs. And again, I can feel it. I could feel it. I could feel the love. I could just feel what the sonic imprints of what these songs are about. I can feel it. The same thing that I felt at home. The same thing I felt when my mother woke me up in the morning, and I just, would be just singing to myself, a little girl by herself in the backyard. Same feeling. So I say I travel to all these different places because I chase spirit and I chase music. That's what I do. I'm just chasing that feeling, to be reconnected.
And do you chase spirit, but actually it's inside of you, right?
Yeah, it's inside of me. Yeah, it's inside of me. So I'm chasing that expression. Right? Like, oh, let me see how it's expressed that way. Let me see what's the sound of it that way. And you learn a group of people on a very bone level, on a very bone level, not on a frequency of right here today in this moment, but on the ancestral level. When you learn these songs on a level that they don't even know these ancestors. Some of them don't. Some of them really do. But some folks don't. And their great granddaddy sung these songs, and they still sing these songs. That's why I asked you like the meaning of like the words that that song carried. Like, wow, that tells you about a group of people. And oftentimes through these songs, you just hear we're all the same. We all just are loving, loving each other, loving our families. But in this world today, there's so many things that keep us separated, not just from each other, but from ourselves. Like from ourselves, we're so disconnected from ourselves. So I use these songs, this music to return home to me, but then to return home to those that I'm around, And so, yeah, it's a study of culture. It's a study of spirit. It's to see the magnitude. All this time has went past and these songs survived. All this pain, all this ridicule, all these different things, and these songs survived. Those people, those voices. When I sing those songs, I hear them way back, way, way back. Same thing with Christian, Christianity, in the church, old songs. I feel the same way. And so, and other songs that I learned from around the world. I would love to learn the song you just sang, I want to connect with the people and find my home with them, because we're all one and the same. It's the way that I can do my own decolonial process, decolonizing my body, decolonizing my voice, my thoughts, what I see. So what I speak and what I hear actually change the filter, what's in front of me. It's like an Instagram filter. You put a filter in front of Instagram picture, and now the picture black and white. You put an Instagram filter, now you got sparkles and things going on. We do that with sound. Like literally, it's scientifically, we do that with sound. So I use that as a way to decolonize my body, decolonize my mind, decolonize my heart, to get to my love, to my liberation. And it's a continual act.
Yeah, when you work and think on these levels, I mean, life is so much more colorful, or so many more layers than just like what we see, and like, yeah,
absolutely.
That's reality. Point.
Absolutely.
Like period. My mother is a flutician, and she was at the course where somebody was playing on stage, and then this course leader, he held different colored like scarves behind her, and she didn't see the color, but the sound of her playing changed, like with every, and everybody was like, what? So it matters what you wear. It matters how the room, everything matters.
It matters. So I sing these songs, I teach these songs. I even teach you there's songs inside of you that needs to get out. Tones. It's not just songs. I don't want to just make it seem like it's going to be a song. We're going to have a verse and then a chorus. Sometimes it's just guttural sounds that needs to be resonated to shake your bones. I've been nicknamed the Bone Rattler in my community based on like how I sing and think and what they feel from what I sing. And so my mission when I sing is to actually crack your bones. It's to rattle your bones.
And rattle or crack? That's different.
It's different, right? I'm here. I'm the Bone Rattler. I want to rattle you, and if I can crack you, so be it. And if I could crack your bones, all that is for me is like I'm tapping into your humanity, and whatever your ancestors and whatever spirit needs to come in and mend those bones back in another way that they do, that the higher beings of whatever it may be, call it whatever you want to call it, God, call it good, whatever it is, right? Like it's Christianity will do blah, 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 blah. Like we all have our ways. If you want to say God, you want to say these different things, just say good. Allow the good to come in and to then heal your bones back together with the good inside of that. You're good. And that's what I'm here to do, and what I set out to do. So yeah. And because we have those stories, just guttural cries. I mean, one of the things I do in one of my workshops is like, how do you call your mama? Like, do you be like, mama? Or are you like, mama? Like if you're hurt or if you surprised, we have different ways we express when we want to share it with mama or mommy or however or ma. My brother says ma. I say mama, and however different ways. My cousin says iya, however many different ways that we call our mother. When we're hurt, we're sad, we're surprised, we have something exciting to share. We call her name. We call her sound in different ways. And it has a message. Your mother could hear. I could hear when my daughter calls me a certain way and I know something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes even if your mother's not here, you still need to call her. You still need to make those guttural sounds. You still need to know that she's here. I'm so fortunate my mother's alive still, but she doesn't live with me. So sometimes I'm in the house and maybe going through some challenging times. I still call out to my mother, literally out loud in my house, to get that frequency to run through my body, because that call is, you're safe. That's how my body registers that sound. You're not alone. Someone's here for you. Someone cares about you. When I call out that way, that's what that sound means. So even if she's not here, I let my body know. And then that frequency
so
changed my
beautiful
mind.
and such a big gift if you have that connection to your mama. I have too,
Mm-hmm.
And to my father, it's I
Mm-hmm.
think more, it's different and it's so beautiful. But I mean, if your childhood was a mess, that's like.
And I would say my childhood wasn't the greatest, right? Like, I mean, I had a very beautiful childhood, but I had trauma in my childhood, of course, right? Like, I think we all have. And so you find those frequencies where it was good and you allow those things to heal you. It is literally changing the vibration of your body. You are literally changing through neuroplasticity. You are literally changing that trauma center to a new frequency by I use the work of saying mama. You could use whoever it was, your grandmother, it could be somebody on TV. My brother, he'll kill me. My brother had a teddy bear. Like, my brother had a teddy bear. We called the teddy bear Freddie Walk. Freddie Walk was like my brother's, me and my brother slept in the same bed for many years. We had a small house. We slept in the same bed for many years. And it was me, my brother, and Freddie Walk that slept in that bed. So even if it's Freddie Walk, because Freddie Walk gave you comfort, even if it's a pet, like when I call my dog Charlie, when I do that, I feel joy in my body. So even the day, I don't want to think about that, but even the day that Charlie may not be here anymore, I can still give myself the imprint, Charlie, to conjure up the joy in my body, because my body knows that sound as joy. So it doesn't have to just be your mama or your father or even a thing. It could just be something that gave you the frequency of joy, the frequency of safety, of love, of you're cared for. Call it out and bring that into your moment wherever you may be.
And if you don't have it yet, you could create it, right? Create this sound you want to imprint on yourself.
Yes.
Within beautiful, yes. When you feel it, like anchor it in with.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
As we are going live with this episode at the 11th of January, and like the new year is in front of us, let's imagine it's now January 2022. Do you plan all of your year? I mean, you have engagements and shows maybe planned out. How much of planning do you do, and how much are you like everything is falling into place anyway?
Yeah, so I love planning. I love planning. I am definitely a stationery and calendar, and I just love all those different things. So I have honed down on two processes that really work for me. So one of the processes I look over my whole year and the past year. I look over the past year. So we're in 2021. I will go from January all the way down to December. And week by week, I make a list on it. And I got this from Tim Ferriss. On the left side, you put Write down all the things. Go week by week on your calendar and your, look in your phone, whatever you keep, track of what you're doing. What are the things that felt really good, that made you feel empowered, that gave you this spark or whatever it may be? Write that on this side, and on the other side, you write all the things that just was like, this sucked my energy out. I hated this. This did not feel good. It may be a person, place, or thing. Both. It could be a person, place, or thing. So once I do that, I go into my 2022 year, and I actually set those things on my the ones that actually feel good. I set those things on my calendar for 2022. For example, going to concerts is like my biggest joy. I absolutely going to see live shows. So what I would do is, I have some artists that I absolutely adore. I would go to 2022, look up when they're going to be in my city, put it on my calendar. And if I can, right then and there, buy the ticket. So I'm already set. I already have put joy into my year for 2022.
Cool. Yeah.
Right.
And like everybody plays in San Francisco, right? You don't.
A lot of people play in San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah. We get it almost everybody. So that's a good thing. So there's concerts, there could be plays, there could be family dinners. So another one that we had last year for myself was my family. We get together once a month and do a family brunch. And it was like on my calendar, we only did it like 3 times last year or something like that. But it was so much fun. It was this was joy. Like I love that. And so I reached out to my family and said, hey, do we want to set some more of those things? Everybody was like, yes. So now in 2021, we've been doing it once a month. So that goes to 2022. Cool. And we put it in our calendar for once a month.
And did it stick like the joy, or was it like too much? Like, already you again? Or was it always?
No. What happened is like what I was talking about with my accountability partner, it evolved. So at first it was, my mother was cooking these meals, and of course we all want my mom's cooking. And then my daughter got this cooking, download or something like that, which, she's named after my mom, my grandmother. And so I'm like, well, you got it, honestly, because they were fantastic cooks. And so then it turned into my mom and my daughter cooking together for us to try this dish that my daughter made. So she's like, okay, I made this. I'm so excited. And she wants us to try it. And she's looking at us try it. And so it turned into that. And then it turned into like, I was honest and just said, I don't find joy cooking. Like, that's not my joy spot, but I would love to sit there and watch you guys cook. I will sit there and watch you guys cook and laugh and talk. And so now I'm not forcing myself to cook, right? Like and my family's like, okay, that's not your joy spot. So I became like the food runner. So what's the list? I'll go buy the groceries and bring them. That's how I contribute. So I'm just saying, it just evolved. And no, the joy has not, at least after the food, the brunch, that has not died. Like, it just seems like it keeps getting better. Oh, the newest thing is my daughter and I are having so much fun setting elaborate tables. Like, so her and I will go out and buy like different plates, and let's get these glasses and these napkins. And so her and I are having fun doing that. So that's like the new thing that has maybe like the last 2 months we have been like, woo. So it just keeps building. So that's one of the things that I do. So I set it that way. Look at list of things that was joy, list of things that were not joy, put the things that were joy, put it on the 22 calendar immediately. Like, if you buy the ticket now. If you go buy the flight, buy the flight now. If you can schedule a spa day, go in there and put it, just schedule it, do it now. And then the things that did not bring me joy. Now, some of the things that did not bring me joy was like doctor's appointments. I just hate having to wrestle with doctor's appointments. And we spoke about like some of the health things that I've, been through and things like that. So I can't get past that, right? Like I just have to do that. But some of the other things I put that on the do not engage list. And there are people on there, there's spaces on there, like, do not engage. So when I get that invitation in to go over here, I'm like, woo, that's on my do not engage list. I have to say no. So that's one practice that I have, setting my year, that I absolutely adore. And then the next practice is I do my years in quarters. that really has stuck with me. Like, so I've already planned for January, February, March, what my January, February, March is going to be. And one of my key words is keep it agile. You have to remain agile in this world that is forever changing. Life is forever moving. And it was times in my life I was not as agile. It'll be like, why isn't this, man, like you're messing up everything, but now it's like, just have some agility, Tossie, like stretch it out a little bit, and so I have space. There's space on my calendar. So if I have to move something around, there's space to do that. I do have rules. If I keep seeing projects, I'm keep pushing off. After 3 pushes, I have to evaluate, do you really want to do this or you don't? Because maybe you just don't.
Good. That's really good.
Maybe you just transitioned, right? Like maybe I'm complete. I haven't even done it yet, but I'm complete with whatever that was about to be. So if I push it over 3 times, I got to be like, okay, there's not a 4th. You need to make a decision. And then if I say, no, I'm not complete with this, then get realistic as to why you keep pushing it. Maybe you need to save this for the 4th quarter. Maybe you need to save this for the 3rd quarter, or maybe this has to go into next year. Now I had to do that this year. Something I kept pushing. I was like, no, I can really do it. And then I just had to admit, oh, I can't get this done this year. This is going to actually have to go into 2022. And I remember being like shocked, like, oh my God.
But then it felt like at the right spot, like there it is.
I got the release that I need. Instead of having my body in tension, my body was in tension because, it wasn't getting done. My body got back into ease. And that's the state I'm trying to exist and work from. This is a state of ease,
I love that. 3 pushes. After that, you have to make a decision.
You got to make a decision. Yes. So
and
I love
how
it.
do you keep track of everything? Are you like the planner and really the execution of your plans that's easy for you? Because I'm strategic in my mind, like very quick. But then the execution, I'm like, I don't want to. I want just to do what I feel to do. But like organizing and having a practical plan, that's really hard for me. Like, but I have an assistant. He's brilliant. So I'm good.
Oh, well, that's good. That's really good. So I have accountability. So I have to get, I need a lot of support when it comes to getting things done. When it comes to getting things done, I need a lot of support. I am very dreamy, I like to be in the creative flow. I like to read books. I like to do all those different things. So my project management, I've actually had to hire somebody to come in. If I'm starting a project, just to like help organize me, somebody to bounce off and get. They may not be with me the entire time, but at least for that onset. What I also have is, let's see if you can see this with me showing all of my craziness. So that's my whiteboard.
Yeah.
And I have it, Monday through Sunday, and it's empty right now because I am in the process of filling it out for the week. So my weeklies I do on my whiteboards here. My dailies I do in my journal. My journal is not. Oh, it's over there on my computer. So I have a journal that I keep with me, and I do my daily. So everything I need to do in a day goes in my journal because I keep that journal with me, like everywhere I go. What I'm doing for a week, I put on my whiteboard so I can see the inner here. And the reason why this came about is because I am an introvert, and managing my energy output, I had to really get a hold of that because I was actually finding myself sick, in the doctor's office, wondering what's wrong with me. And they weren't finding anything. And I just was over my energy level. Like I'm not monitoring my energy output, my energy input. I just wasn't monitoring it. So I created this 1 week that I see every day. Every time I walk in here, it's always here. It's somewhere easily accessible. Anytime you walk in my house, you'll see it. And so I can see how energetic I need to set up my week. How do I need to be energetically to set up my week? And then I manage it in my dailies. And then I have on my computer, and in my other book, I have my quarters for all three months. And then if it's projects, I use Asana. I'm not that good with Asana, I'll be honest, but I do try to plug it in there. after I plug it in there, I usually don't even go back to it. I'm so analog. Like I'm analog. I need to use like pen to paper. So I like try to assign after being with the project manager, here's the thing, assign each task to a person that needs to get done. And then now I put myself in the role of creative director, creative project manager versus the one that has to do everything, because I love all the things. I'm like, ooh, I want to do that part and that part and that. Like Tossie, then it will never get done. You know, so I have to assign who are these people. And sometimes those people are me. Like I was like, Tossie the mother is going to do this. Tossie the organizer is going to do this part, but I can't. Tossie can't be in all of it, right? Like it's just impossible. So it's about recruiting a team. Sometimes people who believe in you, but you have people who believe in you, you know, and who wants to support you. I had to learn that, to know how to ask for the support, and then also be willing to pay. Because sometimes I'd be like, I don't have enough money. You could pay for some help, at least like 3 hours, even if it's just 3 hours. It's like, just start somewhere, you know, just even if it's just 2 hours, just start somewhere.
And especially delegating things which take you so much time, and for another person it's like so easy. For me, that's my assistant. I mean, my new sales page, I wrote the text chaotic and she just took it, and it's like, oh, you're a genius. She said, yeah, well, you wrote the text, you know, it's so cool if you can work together like that.
Mm-hmm. That's priceless, to have somebody who is a good teammate, because then, you know, we go through good person, great skills, just might not be the best match for your flow, or what can optimize what you're putting out there. So I'm still figuring that out. I'm still like bumpy and clumsy. I think that's another word that I try to allow myself to be, is clumsy. You know,
you don't seem clumsy at all, like 0%. Like you are such an inflow.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad it appears
ready
that way.
For an hour, Tossie. I have to keep your time because you have another appointment. I could talk for hours with you for sure. It was so beautiful.
It's so good talking to you.
Can I ask you like your message to the world? Like what do you say for closing out our beautiful talk?
That's a beautiful question and a beautiful opportunity. Everything begins with sound. Use your voice. Speak, say, make noise, plant the seeds of the new world that you are designing. We need your sound.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are a piece of art with everything you are and say and how you move. It's I'm deeply touched. Thank you so much for this hour.
Thank you. It has been great. Thank you for what you're doing by centering joy, and moving and teaching and guiding and championing that principle in life. We need more joy ambassadors. So grateful for you.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And we will link all the resources and your website and your socials in the show notes so that everybody can find you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye. Wow, this was simply amazing. I mean, the wisdom Tossie was dropping all over, and the beauty of her words with, I mean, I saw visually these sound carpets, floors where she's dancing on. I just loved the recording of this episode, and I really hope that you did too. And I hope that you are deeply inspired for putting her planning wisdom and wizardness magician into practice. I mean, how cool is the things she just described, how to plan, to go back into last year and put it into this year. That's so good. And if you want support, and I don't do that usually, but I just had this idea. If you want to hop on the vision workshop we do over the next weekend, we start the day after tomorrow, and it's 5 days where you will create your vision board. You will plan your whole year in a very creative way, but then also in a deep, soulful way where you really dig into feelings and words and how you want to really prepare this year. As Tossie said, like stay agile, and be flexible and open to things you can't plan. But the intention is so important. So if you are very curious and like, I want to do that with Ronja and all the people from the Joy Academy, you have the chance to hop in now spontaneously. Just write an email to me or a DM on Instagram is the best. At Joy is my compass is my handle, so that we can just put you into the gang. It's 333 Swiss francs. That's about the same amount in dollars, American dollars. So if you are in for 5 days of deep inner work and having your vision board afterwards just beautifully finished in front of you, then let me know. And otherwise, we see each other at the 1st of February in the next episode. And if you want to get all my inspiration and wisdom in between, check at Choice My Compass on Instagram, or you will find me on Facebook or also at TikTok, and sign up for the newsletter. My website is joyismycompass.com. And of course, the place to be to bring more joy in your life and also get rid of your baggage, the old baggage and the self-doubt and relationship stress and everything which is weighing you down. Get rid of that in a beautiful way, deep dive, not only covering it up with some band-aids. Get rid of these things and then plan your year, plan your vision, know what you want, and really implement all the areas of your life so that you are happy and joyful from within, from deep inside of you. Join the Joy Academy for that. I'm super happy if you are choosing that, and if you want to try it out first and it's still January the 11th and you have time to decide, write me a DM on Instagram for more information for the Vision Workshop. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening, and share this episode with a friend so that more people can listen to Tossie's wisdom. Thank you. Bye-bye from Zurich, Switzerland.